You'll find Hurley Haywood. Remember, he's coming off that crash. They just barely got that car back together for this race. He's having some handling problems. On down through the list, you see the Chris Hodgetts, Dave Donahue, Rob Wilson team. Those three guys all in BMWs. They're still having a problem with wheel spin. Other than that, they've got plenty of horsepower. And then on down through row 7 and 8 with Bo Lemler and Jochen Rohr. He's out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And Steve Hansen brings up the back of the field in row number 9. And a pace car slowing them down on the backstretch.
Well, of course, those guys with turbochargers had their left foot planted pretty firmly on the brake pedal at this stage and their right foot buried on the old gas. It's one of those tricky things when you're coming around a corner like this up to the start finish line, because obviously it tends to lock up the front brake and the rear wheels are trying to get some power, but you've got to get that boost up. And no doubt Herr Stuck back there on the second row will be having his foot buried as much as anybody.
And that's what Stuck said was the key to his great start last time out at Laguna Seca, and he won that race as well. Remember, he's going for 5 in a row. Heading down, you'll see Jim Sidley, top right-hand portion of the screen, and he's looking and waiting, and the green flag is out, and we're underway at Portland International Raceway, and they've got him 4 wide heading for the festival turn.
I'm not going to say anything about the start. It was perfect, Jim. There we see Nick Ham taking the lead. Oh, great ground shot here. You can see the yellow curve there. Oh, one of the BMWs really sideways there. Those cars, as you said, have a bit of trouble with traction. And, of course, non-turbocharged, so a bit of a disadvantage on a track like this for these long straights. Somebody's smoking up this one.
It's one of the Lotus Sports. I think he's got a tire rub. I think some fender damage.
Obviously got a bit nailed in one of those corners, and as you say, he's giving it some fender rub. And there's Sean Hendricks in the yellow car up in second spot. Very powerful car, those twin-turbo Nissans.
Nick Ham in front of Sean Hendricks, and then, of course, the 58 added Hans Stuck. And look at the battle going on. Hurley Haywood trying to fight his way up.
Ooh, that looked a bit airy, didn't it? And there's one of the BMWs getting muscling right in there alongside Hurley as they come out onto the back straight here. Oh,
big damage. That is one of the BMWs as well. That is the 51 of David Donahue out of Malvern, Pennsylvania, taking some heavy nose damage.
That was the number 14 car of David Murray in the Lotus. Oh, that looks like David's race is done for today.
Gotten some tire rubbing, so it looks like he may be making his way towards Rick DeBrule down in pit lane, as that tire will not hold up under the stress, especially with this predominantly a right-hand turn course.
No, he's
now back up front, look at Sean Hendricks. Sean Hendricks in the Nissan has taken the lead over Nick Ham. Hans Stuck in third.
Hear those tires grabbing for grip as they go through the chicane there.
And we'll let you know that David Donahue did not pit. He stayed out on course, so we'll keep an eye and see if that tire gets cut down by the rub.
I wouldn't think it'd do the entire length of this race, that's for absolute sure. Now, what has happened to our erstwhile pole sitter, Doc Bundy? Sean Hendricks actually puts a bit of daylight between himself and Nick Ham. Nick Ham, an expatriate Brit, comes from Yorkshire, the Brian Redmond part of England, and he now lives in Denver.
Yeah, Nick was not very popular with Hurley Haywood and the Brumos Porsche team after the last event. Nick got into and took Hurley Haywood out as he lost control going into turn number 2, and that caused the number 59 to be rebuilt literally in 3 days so that they could make this event. And right now it is a 3-car show. It is Hurley Haywood in 4th. Well, there you see him just coming into screen, and Doc Bundy nowhere to be found.
Can't see Doc Bundy anywhere. Now, this is a very crucial corner. This is the last long right-hander. You've got to really launch the car well off here so you can really make hay down this long front straightaway to try and break somebody going into the chicane.
Well, you talked about our pole sitter, and that being Hans Stuck. This is his 14th race. He's had the pole 11 times. Right now, it is Sean Hendricks, Nick Ham, and Hans Stuck running 1, 2, 3, and Hendricks is pulling out a lead. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have more action from round number 7 of the Bridgestone Supercar Championship. Back at Portland International Raceway, Hans Stuck diving underneath Nick Ham into the festival turns and takes over second place, and Sean Hendricks is pulling over. Hendricks either missed a shift or has a problem because he has dropped back and he is pulling off to the side.
Oh, no, that is a disappointment because Sean Hendricks was going, looking pretty good there, and obviously has a major problem with that car. What a shame. Just as Hans Stuck, of course, took second spot, which, of course, now is first.
I'm wondering if he lost the turbo because, boy, he just slowed dramatically. Back up front, there is Hans Stuck. All of a sudden, here he is looking for 5 in a row, and he's in front of Nick Ham. His teammate, Hurley Haywood, in the 59 Brumos Porsche, is third.
I would think that having got around Nick, that Hans Stuck will be able to put some good daylight between themselves and Nick. These Brumos cars are pretty special, and of course, as we've seen many times in the past, Hans Stuck is a very special driver. He did a lot of Formula One. I mean, this guy has been around a lot, done a lot of racing miles, and is an exceptional, has fantastic car control. That Stuck is, you know, absolute hallmark is his car control. And these sort of cars, which are not ideally balanced, just suit him down to the ground. There you can see his teammate coming up behind him now, number 59 car. Oh, Nick Ham's going to have another go down the inside. This is where Stucky got him, and yes, he gets him.
So the lead changes hands again in the festival turn. Now that is a very sharp right-hander. Stuck reeling him back in quickly as they head on back out onto the what used to be the front straightaway, totally down into that first turn. That festival turn is
a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I was going to say that festival turn has really added a lot to this racetrack.
Yes, it's reduced the length of the front straight significantly, so power is not quite such the dominating requirement here that it used to be. With that long back straight and this huge long front straightaway, power was just, you know, was all consuming here. And that festival turn complex has certainly evened it up for the handling cars compared to the power cars.
So the Porsche is now running 1-2 with Nick Ham in front of Hans Stuck and Hurley Haywood in third. And we should bring him to date. The number 50 of Chris Hodgetts is now running fourth in the BMW. That's his best run in quite a while.
Well, of course, he's done extremely well because he qualified in 10th position, and there's no doubt about it that the 3.5 litre BMW does not have the same horsepower that, for instance, these two Porsches do. And Chris Hodgetts, they've got a new engine this weekend in that Ed Arnold Racing BMW, and it's obviously doing him a lot of good. He was very quick on Friday. He wasn't quite so quick yesterday in qualifying, but boy, he's right up on the pace again today.
There is Stuck, still taking the lead again. Now, as again, the festival turns is becoming the place to pass, and that is a sharp 90-degree right-hander.
Well, that's the other thing that the festival turn has given us. It has given us a very well-defined passing area, which is what you need. You need a slow corner at the end of a long, fast straight to see the best sort of passing action. High-speed or mid-speed corners at the end of a fast straight are not ideal for passing, and they're too difficult. But that sort of slow complex is just exactly what the doctor ordered. And of course, it's right in front of the main grandstand, so it's perfectly placed.
Well, this swapping of the lead back and forth is some of the best action we've had all year long. Now, there is the number 8 of Sean Rowe of Jacksonville and the 25 of Mike Gagliardo. So those two have gotten around Chris Hodgetts. Hodgetts has dropped back to 6th place. So again, we're talking horsepower, and right now, those two, Rowe and Gagliardo, have been able to get the power down.
Gagliardo, of course, is running third in the championship at the moment, only just a few points behind Doc Bundy. So obviously one of his first priorities today is to beat Doc Bundy, and at the moment he's leading him because there's Doc Bundy back behind the Hodgetts BMW. In fact, he's 2 cars behind the BMW.
You know, it'd be interesting if Sean Rowe could catch up to Hurley Haywood. Sean used to be Hurley's crew chief. Here we go again down to the festival turn, and yes, we're going to get another lead change. Nick Ham, on every lap, we've had the lead change going into the festival turns. You figure one of these guys would be able to find a way to block the other off.
You certainly want to get it right on the right lap as we look at poor old David Donohue's car.
David Donohue is out of this race. It looks as like the left front tire has definitely been cut down, and he is going to be parking it back in the paddock area. Now back up front, Nick Ham and Hans Stuck. Who's going to take the lead next time? Well, if you're going to take odds, it will be Hans Stuck as they'll dive for the festival corner. Nick Ham doing very well this week. I mean, tell you, last week he felt awful after taking out Hurley Haywood, but right now he's in control, at least for another few corners. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll show you more of round 7 of the Bridgestone Supercar Championship. Today's ESPN Speed World event is brought to you by Bridgestone, the next revolution in tires. And by Budweiser, fresh, pure, natural. Proud to be your Bud. Marty Reed, David Hobbs, Rick DeBrule, and there is the leaderboard as Hans Stuck has taken the lead with 13.5 minutes remaining in this 30-minute event, as he has taken the lead from Nick Ham as the Porsche 911 Turbos. And here's what happened again. It was the festival turn.
Absolutely. Old Stucky pulled out well in advance, gave Ham plenty of warning what he was about to do, pulled off a very clean pass. Both drivers there behaving themselves exceptionally well as they went into the festival turn. But as you can see, Stuck has now pulled out a bit of a lead, and old Hurley Haywood is looming into the top of the picture there, closing up on Nick Ham.
Got a question for you. They're on identical tires, the Potenza RE71 made by Bridgestone. Does Stuck have an advantage over Nick Ham because of his driving experience? Can he run him out of tires?
I don't think so, no. The tires are too closely matched, and I would say that although Stuck's driving exuberance is more likely to run him out of tires, on the other hand, of course, his long-time skill behind the wheel will you know, help him out well, too.
There is a battle brewing for third place. There's Hurley Haywood, his former crew chief, right on his back bumper, Sean Rowe. And behind Rowe is Mike Gagliardo. This is the best race of the year in the Supercar Championship, as we have got battles going on all over the top 5. Now remember,
very evenly matched, aren't
they? The crew had to rebuild Hurley's car literally in 3 days. He's been complaining about the handling. It's just not quite the same as it was before the accident. But right now he has got his hands full with Sean Rowe right behind him. Looks like Hurley's doing a little bit better through the cornering section here, but look at this, under braking and the horsepower as the Corvette just reels in the Porsche 911 Turbo.
Interesting to see how the horsepower stacks up down this back straight here. This is a long, flat-out run, and the Corvette very evenly matched there with the Turbo 3.3-liter Porsche engine there.
Well, Sean was voted the 1992 most improved driver in the series, and right now Hurley's probably wishing he'd go back to being his crew chief.
Yeah. And Mike Gagliardo hanging in the background there. He wants to do well here, as I've already pointed out. Third in the championship, must beat Doc Bundy today, which he is doing. But obviously, the further up, the more points he gets, so he wants to get around. Now, the thing is Hurley Haywood. Hurley Haywood pulling out of the wall, trying to break the draft, but Sean Rowe having nothing to do with it. Now then. Oh, Hurley pushing well over.
That's a defensive move.
Very defensive.
In football, that'd be called a block. Hurley Haywood, as you can see, his best finish this year has been third at Atlanta. Sean Rowe currently running in fourth. His best finish so far this season has been 2 fifth-place finishes back at Miami and then also at Cleveland. So right now, Sean Rowe having the best run he's had all season long, but he still has his hands full also. He can't concentrate solely on Hurley because Gagliardo is right on his back bumper.
Absolutely, and catching up through the turns there at the west end of the complex here.
In the last 4 races, in fact, Gagliardo has finished third 3 times and fourth at our last event at Laguna Seca. So his consistency at being in that top 3-4 positions is the reason he's in third place in the points. He's in 5th right now, but closing down quickly on the Corvette. You can see the leaders going through. It is still Hans Stuck looking for victory number 5. But boy, nose-to-tail action between 3rd, 4th, and 5th place.
I think Sean Rowe is having a think about going in the inside there into that chicane, which is possible. We've seen it done before, but not always very wise. Right now, he's tagged right onto the bumper of Hurley Haywood Porsche. So he's going to be using some of that draft again. Hurley moves way to the middle of the track. Sean's going to try on the outside pass. That could be tricky. And meanwhile, Gagliardo comes up on the inside, looking like he might get on the inside of Rowe, but doesn't.
Oh, gets a little close there. The braking distance between these cars, obviously, the Porsche a little bit lighter than the Corvette and the Firebird.
They look to be pretty evenly matched, though, don't they? One everywhere on handling, power, and stopping ability.
Stay with us. This battle is not over yet. We're at Portland International Raceway at round 7 of the Bridgestone Supercar Championship. Along with David Hobbs and Rick DeBrule, I'm Marty Reed, back at round number 7 of the Bridgestone Supercar Championship. And there has been a change in the top 5. Take a look at what happens as heading down into the festival turn. It is Sean Rowe getting into the back of Mike Gagliardo.
Well, poor old Mike Gagliardo had suffered from some irregular short braking from old Hurley Haywood. There's our leader, Hans Stuck, who's pulled out quite a lead now over Nick Ham in another Porsche 911.
Well, Stuck going for victory number 5 in a row. No one's ever done it in the Supercar Series. If he wins today, it will be his 8th win in 14 Supercar events, which is a phenomenal percentage. And right behind him, Nick Ham has nothing to be ashamed of today. Remember, he won the Firehawk Grand Sports Championship. That's the showroom stock division last year. He was the season-long champion, but making a fine run here in 2nd place. Hurley Haywood, the Brumos Porsche teammate of Hans Stuck, in 3rd. And now Sean Rowe back into 4th place.
That'll be Nick Ham's 2nd spot if he can hang on to the end of this race. And that'll help his chance in the championship. He's trailing down in 9th spot. But 2nd points will bump him right up into 6th or 7th.
Yeah, he's either been 2nd or like 11th, 12th, 16th, 18th. It's either been feast or famine for Nick Ham. He's either done very well or very poorly. And right now, today, he's doing very well in 2nd place behind that man, Hans Stuck. At age 42, has won just about everything. The 86-87 World Sports Car Champion. As there, you get a great view of Nick Ham in the 911 Turbo.
Ooh,
Kelly Moss Racing.
Nicely sliding through that chicane there. Got a good balance coming in. Used the weight of the car to flick it through that chicane.
Time winding down in this event as we are under 3 minutes remaining. In fact, actually under 2 minutes, we're being told. Down the front straightaway one more time, and Hans Stuck firmly in control. And we're now informed this will be the final lap in round number 7 of the Bridgestone Supercar Championship. And Hans Stuck clearly in control on his way to his 5th straight win.
Which, of course, means 5 out of 7, which is, again, not a bad percentage at all as we watch old Hansie going through the west end of the complex here. Very warm here this afternoon. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous day in the Pacific Northwest. Sun shining in the mid-80s. A fairly good crowd on hand to watch these guys in these very, very production-style race cars. In case you're curious, Doc Bundy and David Murray are the only other 2 winners this year on the tour. Those 2 members of the Lotus Sport team. And they won the first 2 rounds at Miami and Atlanta, respectively. And since then, Hans Stuck has been the man to beat. And again, it looks like no one is going to be able to do it today as he comes down through the last few corners for the final time. I wonder if Hans will go for a celebratory ski on Mount Hood tomorrow. He's a big skier coming from Austria and Germany. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pop up the slopes for an hour or 2. He didn't yodel for us after the win at Laguna Seca, so maybe... Whoa! Hans! Typical Hans signature there as he gets the car all crossed up. Look at this. Flashing the lights. What a show. He usually climbs out of the car at about this stage, takes his helmet off and sits on the door sill and does his victory tour. It's going to be Hurley Haywood taking 3rd place over his former crew chief, Sean Rowe, as that's the battle for 3rd. Gagliardo will end up in 6th position, but the man of the moment is right there, Hans Stuck, as he makes it 5 in a row in the Bridgestone Supercar Championship here at round number 7 at Portland International Raceway, and on the victory cool-down lap. So as he makes his way around, we'll make our way down to victory lane, and that's where we'll catch up with Rick DeBrule after this. The door is open, and there's Hans Stuck. Today's ESPN Speed World event has been brought to you by Bridgestone, the next revolution in tires. And there's the top 5, and 5 seems to be the magic number for Hans Stuck as he has made it 5 wins in a row in the Bridgestone Supercar Championship. And Rick DeBrule has made his way down to victory lane to catch up with our winner. Rick, it's all yours.
Well, Hans Stuck, you played the role of the hunter today. You were just chasing down Nick Ham. Describe how you did that. Just wait for the right moment, or did you know it was going to happen all along?
Yes, I was a little bit down on boost, I must admit, because we wanted to play it safe, not to have too much boost for the checking afterwards. So I said, put it down. So I quite didn't have the edge on the straight, but I was fast in the infield. So I had to concentrate all on the last turn here to get right in the slipstream and then pass him. That was all about. And then once I passed him, I didn't know where he was going. But I must say, this first lap and first corner was very smart of everybody. Big compliments to all my fellow drivers.
Now let's talk about what happened at the start-finish line. Suddenly the lights went on. Was there something wrong with the electrical in the car? I suddenly saw waving and lights going on in the car.
You mean in the last lap? Of course. You need how to celebrate, you know.
Hans Stuck celebrating number 5.
I'm disappointed, though. He didn't yodel for us. Can you yodel, Mr. Hobbs?
No, I can't. It's not in the contract.
Oh, well, all right. There's the rundown. We'll give you the final finishing order as we take a look at everybody. And, of course, the one guy you feel bad for is Mike Gagliardo. He got tagged in the back from Sean Rowe, able to finish 6th. And also Sean Hendricks in 14th position. He lost every gear except 1st and 3rd, and you just can't make it around. And then Dave Donahue also having that misfortune of going out early. Down in pit lane, actually in victory lane, we've got 2nd place. Let's go to Rick.
Standing here with Nick Hammond, you had a role I didn't envy today. You were being stalked by Hans Stuck. I mean, how do you keep him at bay?
Well, I don't think you can. I saw a big smile on his face, and I think he was showing his teeth to me. And after what happened last week, I was giving him plenty of room. Didn't want to repeat of last week.
You know, in fact, at Victory Circle, Hans Stuck made the point that he thought everybody went into that first turn a lot smarter than last week.
Yeah, I got a good start alongside Doc. I was able to get in front of him going into turn 1, and I'd practiced this morning how deep I could go on my brakes at the start, and I went right to that point and just made the corner cleanly, and got a good start. So it was a good race for us, good race for the team.
Well, thanks, guys. And David, quick final thoughts.
Well, good racing everywhere, especially that race for 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
For David Hobbs, Rick DeBrule, I'm Marty Reed. There's your winner. He's made it 5 in a row. Hans Stuck. We'll see you next time we go racing on ESPN's Speed World.